Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Questionable Perspective Podcast. I am your host, Master FGC Chris, who is my co-host, Mr. PSD Joshua. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well, sir. How are you?
Doing well. We got two interesting topics. Well, one interesting topic and another one that's kind of fighting game related. We're going to be hitting I guess we're going to do the first one, which is the Stop Killing Games initiative. I'm going to let Mr. Joshua take this one away because he knows a little bit more about it than I have because I just started really basically trying to track down information on it.
All right. Well, I hope y'all are ready for a little ride. There's a gentleman, a YouTuber by the name of Accursed Farms. He's started up a petition, basically. And if there is 1 million signatures on it, the European Union will look at this. Basically, the initiative is to get gaming companies to stop killing games, basically. Kind of an example would be if some people know about Ubisoft, The Crew, its game was put out as about 3-4 years around, and then, they just pulled the switch on it. So a lot of people ended up with just new coasters. But I mean, now mind you, this will only affect Europe, but if you can get 1 million signatures, they'll look at it. And I think it would be great if we could support this. Basically, this is for consumer rights because right now we're in the age of digital media. Where does our rights as the consumer begin and end? Because the publisher just goes, yeah, we'll just take this away from you at any point in time, just because. Which I think is egregious and ridiculous. Because if you own like a physical disc, that is yours. That is your copy to do as you please. Don't distribute it and all that shenanigans. Obviously, don't pirate it. All the self-explanatory laws. But now when we come to digital items like music and other things, it's getting murky because the publishers are really screwing a lot of people over. Music, videos, movies. But anyways, we're going to flip over to the big uproar that's been happening the past couple of days is some of y'all might know a gentleman by the name of Pirate Software, or Thor, is his name. His father was a developer at Blizzard, I think, for like 20 something years. He worked at Blizzard, then worked at Amazon Games. He's got his own game studio called Pirate Software and has developed a game called Heartbound. Has worked on other games, I believe. Rivals of Aethers 1 and 2. I don't know to what extent he's worked on these games, but other than that, but he made a video that, now mind you, he's a developer, so he's coming from the developer's perspective, I think. A lot of people are defending him with that, and I don't think that is quite right because he's done a lot of misinformation in what we're about to show in this video here. Pull it up. That at the end of July, the Stop Killing Games petition will just go away. This has burnt him out. He's been working on this for like almost over a year now. And this is just, hey, look at this, please. So, and Pirate Software has, like I said, spread misinformation, used weird straw mans in his response to this. And this is, about 9-10 months ago. But we'll let Mr. Accursed Farms explain this from his perspectives here.
I really don't want to do this next part, but it's become a liability for the campaign for me not to. Our biggest critic by far is YouTuber and streamer Pirate Software, who goes by Thor. If your only exposure to Stop Killing Games has been this video, then you've been misinformed. This video is by someone who does not understand the campaign, has been trying to stop it, and has been making up what it is about. I am not saying that lightly. I will prove it in a minute. Now you might be thinking, okay, so some YouTuber got something wrong on the internet. So what? See, that was my thinking too. The problem is how incredibly influential this YouTuber has been. Remember that list of coverage on the campaign? Well, best I can tell, Thor's coverage has been bigger than literally anyone else on those lists, except Asmongold. And the only video Asmongold had on this bigger than Thor's was about Thor's video. So for all practical purposes, Thor here has been the #1 voice on the campaign, and he's been lying about what it is. That's a bit loaded though. In this case, I'm using the second definition of lie. I have no evidence it's the first.
And as from what some of y'all can hear, this has been the ongoing problem for the past couple of days now. Thor has made some responses and such, and they've been in DMs, which I will show their responses on X. But we'll let Mr. Accursed Farms continue explaining.
This video came out right as we were building momentum. Then except for one boost in Germany, the signatures started drying up like clockwork. This put me in kind of a no-win scenario too. Because if I ignored it, then a lot of people were going to get misinformed about the campaign. But if I did a response video, which is not something I wanted to do anyway, then it might look like drama farming, which could understandably turn off a lot of people from the campaign, because it's not about that at all. So I quickly made this video trying to clear up all misconceptions and concerns about the initiative, with timestamps for everyone's questions, hoping the truth would eventually come out. I can see now that was a mistake. I should have just embraced the drama. To this day, I'm still getting frequent comments and emails about the same falsehoods about the campaign that originated in this video. Well, now I have nothing to lose. If we don't get the signatures, then none of this matters anyway. So if this campaign is failing because of me not talking about this, then I'll at least correct history here on the way down. I'll get this over with and go over what I think are the biggest points of Pirate Software's videos.
I guess you see where Mr. Accursed Farms is coming from, Mr. Chris?
Mm-hmm. Like I saw where he was coming from, but when I'm just sitting back just looking at the outcome of it and how likely it is.
And it's crazy because I don't know if you've seen how Pirate Software got popular. It was through like YouTube Shorts. He would just put it YouTube Shorts and they just blew up. That's how I came across him. Was sort of a fan for him till all this, and he became very obnoxious. It was very, very obnoxious.
I follow him on TikTok. He usually pops up little bite-sized little conversations.
Oh no, I sat down and watched some of his streams. He is he's very interesting. I think and this is not to delve too far away from the subject. There have been some issues where I forget what upcoming MMO it was. He was basically beta testing it. It's one that's in development or whatever. And there was some drama with him and just his comments. So because he is a developer and he is very popular, he sits in a unique position. And a lot of people would love to be in, but because he sat so firm on the misinformation, he like quadrupled down on all his statements on what he said about stop killing
he had a couple of X posts where he basically was just doubling down on like he said what he said and he's not backing off of it, which I can respect.
You'll see what he said in a couple of these tweets I'll show in a moment, but I'll let this video continue playing in a few minutes. But it's crazy. It's like there was nothing on the initiative, even like on the front page. If you read it, it's not demanding like these publishers have to keep things going. It's like, hey, just hand it off to the fans now. You don't have to worry about that anymore. I mean, that's what just a good example I can think of.
Yeah, but at the same time with that, I'm still in that camp of I don't see any corporation saying we're gonna not only give you our source code for this game, we're gonna let you do whatever you want to do with our licensed characters. That I think Asmongold had the better point that kind of aligned with Thor that he had to agree with. Instead of trying to do online games, you need to target always online single player games. That's where you start at, and then work your way up to the bigger things.
I'll give an example again. The Cannon brothers that work for Riot Games, they were working on Rolling Thunder, and instead of just tossing the game into the bin, they gave it to the community. So they just turned it into a free game. They made it to where it could be turned. Basically, you can just make your own server with it.
No, they're not a major publisher.
They work for a major publisher, but I mean, again, it varies. You've got people that run private game servers for some old games that don't even have servers anymore. Hell, what is it? Phantasy Star on which Phantasy Star is it? It's the ones that ran back on the GameCube and PC and Sega Dreamcast, if I remember correctly. There are people playing that to this day. I won't say what it is, but I mean, Sega probably doesn't really care about that thing running. Now, people running private servers of World of Warcraft, now there's a bunch of illegal ones of those running around. But when you have a game like The Crew or Anthem is another example. Hell, you had all these people just buy these physical copies and they can't do anything with them. Unless you're on PC, people are running private servers, but the official servers are gone. EA shut down Anthem within like a year and a half. But all the team members for that were being slowly moved over to the Dragon Belguard team. So that was just inevitable, or was it the BioWare Andromeda? It was one of those two games. I can't remember.
It might have been Andromeda.
I think it may have been both. I was thinking about it. Anyways, but I'm for game preservation, and it's not like and most single player games should not be required to be basically activate online. That's ridiculous. You and I grew up in the era where it's like you buy the disc, insert it, it plays. That's it.
Yep, but we're also in the era where gamers have basically capitulated to the companies. And why do you need a physical copy? Just get the digital copy. Everybody wants digital. I want it fast. I want it now. I don't want to walk out my house and go to a store and buy it. So gamers have kind of ushered this era in by saying we're okay with digital games. Yeah. You charging us full price for digital games that we don't own.
Yeah, and people are and that's kind of the biggest thing is trying to get, I guess we'll say gamers or just casual audience in general to understand like like a lot of things are being taken from you. Hell, publishers, they'll have it their way. They'll destroy normal commerce as it is.
They've already tried that.
No, they are slowly doing it.
And now, remember when they tried basically when Xbox, which was Xbox? Yeah, Xbox when they tried to cut out the used game market, and people got into an uproar about that.
Yeah, and then they also tried to have where the console had to be online 24/7. It just doesn't work like that. Someone's not going to have access to the internet 24/7.
Well, we have a product for you if you don't have access to the internet. It's called the Xbox 360.
Well, that doesn't have the newest Killer Instinct on it now, does it?
That was the dumbest statement I've ever heard from a CEO.
That's not the dumbest. The dumbest was when oh God. Darn it, I'm having a brain fart here and I hate it. Oh, it was for the Diablo. That's what it was. The new Diablo. It was a new Diablo.
Oh, the mobile game.
Yeah. Don't you have a phone? That was the dumbest thing for someone to say.
Now that wasn't it, because that tanked an entire console almost for them. When he said that, you literally looked at your loyal customers and said, if you're so broke you can't afford an Xbox One, go get a 360.
I don't know that you seem to forget how much that mobile comment did not sit well with people. Let's just put it this way: there's been the executives in some of these positions do not understand their customer base. Period. The board of directors don't understand their consumers, and that is the biggest problem. Even Nintendo's going down this route because, along with all of this, in Nintendo's newest little update for the Switch 2, instead of just banning your account, they will brick your console. Like, they will brick it if you do anything to it. They will ban your account, brick the console, which that's ridiculous. You bought the system. Whatever you decide to do with the system, it's yours. That's the end of the story. You try to mod it and break the damn thing, well, that's on you.
Well, it's not. You can mod the system. You just can never connect to the internet.
No, there are subtle things where, remember, some of these systems have a standby mode.
Mm-hmm.
They will detect online, kind of just periodically, whatever. They detect anything that's out of the ordinary. Boop. Congratulations, you have new paperweight.
That's not. From what I've seen, like, as long as you turn off your Wi-Fi and turn off all connection to the internet, you can mod it. You just can't. You won't be able to play a lot of the games in the library because they require you to download it from the Nintendo store.
Oh, people will find a way around it. They always do. Hell.
And I'm like, well, what do you expect? I'm like, Nintendo told you right out the gate.
It's the thing, though, is if it's where does your rights as a consumer begin and end? That's your console. That's it. What you do with it is on you. You should not be downloading games illegally and all that. Yes.
Well, that was it. When you talk about
people.
I said, when you talk about the MIG switch, I understand Nintendo's point of view on the MIG switch, because you can't tell if that person actually owns those ROMs they dumped onto that MIG switch, or do they not own them. So I kind of understand it from their point of view on that one.
But at the end of the day, Nintendo doesn't care. They just screw you, customer. End of story.
Hey, you signed that term. You signed that terms of service.
I didn't buy it, so I didn't.
You knew it.
Nothing.
You knew what the price was when you signed that terms of service. They told you in the terms of service, you cannot modify that console at all.
Okay,
Nothing.
Chris. How many people read the terms of service of their license agreements?
Is that Nintendo's fault because people don't read?
Yes, because they put out such.
And not only they
no.
Because
listen,
they said that.
Hold on. Any of these agreements that have been put out, they have so many sub paragraphs in them. You're not going to read it. I'm not going to read it. Ain't nobody got time for that. But they put all of that in there to screw with people. Because if we put so much legal jargon here, you're not going to want to read it, and you're not going to understand half of it.
Yeah, it would be true, but Nintendo literally said it verbally.
No. This is not specifically just Nintendo. This is all publishers.
No, I'm just speaking about Nintendo. Nintendo came out and told you this and said, if you do anything to this console to hack it, we're gonna brick that console.
Okay, listen.
They didn't hide that fact.
All right. Let me bring you back into this conversation back to where it's about all the publishers, not just the examples we were talking about. All right. We'll let Mr. Accursed Farms go with a bit more explaining on his.
I'm not going to go over everything because collectively Thor has made hours of video on both me and the movement. I'd be here forever. Believe me, I could address smaller things too, and kind of already have. All right, let's start. Okay, point number 1. Thor does not understand what Stop Killing Games is. Here it is in his words.
So for those who don't understand, the Stop Killing Games initiatives is basically we don't want single-player games
No.
to have DRM that the developers can turn off and thus render the single-player games inactive anymore. This is what they want to change. They need to be specific that they're talking about single-player games that do not need a server to support them.
No.
And as much as they want it to be about specifically games where it is a single-player game that has always online functionality, it would impact every live service game that exists. Instead of just targeting single-player, always online games.
No, that's not what it is. Stop Killing Games includes single-player games, but nothing about it is specific to them. He completely made that up, and I have no idea where he got that impression. This is what I mean. It's harder for gamers to understand this because they come with so many assumptions. It's like that saying about doctors being the worst patients. So let's clear this up. It's the first line on the website. Stop Killing Games is a consumer movement started to challenge the legality of publishers destroying video games they have sold to customers.
And the reason I'm stopping here is because that's the biggest issue. Because look at what all of us have bought over the years. Features have gone to the way of dinosaurs. Good Lord, it took God knows what. 10 years ago, it almost felt like local co-op was almost gone. Now it's come back in a lot of games, but some publishers are going to remove that as a feature. But that's just an example. But I'm like, when you buy something like a game, and specifically we'll use Overwatch 1. Hell, what happened to those discs after Overwatch 2 came out? Coasters. New coasters. Hell, all they had to do was keep Overwatch 1 and just keep updating it. But that was on Blizzard. But when it's just certain games like what was it? Little Big Planet. They told all the people these servers are going to be going off soon when the PS3s were going off, and download these, and it'll be the last time you'll be able to download these maps or whatever. That's fair. It's understandable. The game still functions on the local level, which is fine, and people can still play it. Which I don't know anybody would want to try to play that on PlayStation 3 anymore, but that's just me.
Well, the Overwatch is still there. You can still use the disc.
Not Overwatch 1. They shut all the servers for that on.
No, Overwatch, you still got Overwatch 1 disc and they just updated to Overwatch 2. Because I never bought like a disc for 2. It's just like, it just overwrites 1 and just updates it to 2.
Huh. So that's what they do with it. Huh, interesting.
Which is basically stupid because since it's free to play, you really don't even need the disc. You can literally just click on the thing and don't even have to put the disc in.
But it's going to make you put in the disc regardless, doesn't it?
No, it'll just go ahead and start the game up.
Huh. Okay.
And like if you just want to put it in there, you can, but you don't need it. But I understand what he's saying. Like you buy this game and you buy it because it has online, it's got single player, it's got all this stuff, and then a year or two down the line, they say, well, we're done with the game and we're shutting it off. And not only are we shutting our servers off, we're taking away certain features that you've already paid for. So they definitely need. It's like I can already imagine it's going to be a legal nightmare to try to work out that stuff.
Not really. It's not that difficult. I'm like, some of these online functions will cease to work. That's fine. But I mean, it's just like, this is your copy. But see, we're in the area now of the biggest legal gray area I have ever seen.
Because they tried this with movies.
Well, they're still going to keep doing that. But games are in a far worse, because let's rephrase this.
Well, no, because the
Video-
lady's already taken one of the studios to court because she bought a digital product and then it just went away. And she was like, "Oh no, I bought this," and they're like, "No, you didn't buy this. Yeah, technically you bought it, but you really only bought a license. So as long as that company owned the license, you had it. But when they lost it, you no longer had access to it."
That's the dumb
And she
thing.
took that case. She took the case to court, and she lost.
Well, that's a bit ridiculous. Now, another interesting case. I don't know who all the people were. I think it was a famous actor. He had a very big Apple Music collection, and he willed it to his kids. What do you think happened?
I didn't even know you could will digital music to somebody.
Yes, and due to that court case happening, the client's family won, by the way. So if you ever have a big Apple Music collection, you can will it, but they may have updated it.
And trust me, they've updated that terms of service to like, no.
I
We
mean,
gave it to him, but we ain't giving it to the rest of y'all.
Nah, I don't think so, but because that court case was one like that. I mean, if you want to pass something on to your child, you should be able to. You want to give them your account, that's fine. They have access to your account and everything, and the music that's there. It's like passing on a book collection, a physical one, anyways. But anyways, there is. It sucks right now because the gaming industry is still very young. Because gaming didn't. When I say this, gaming did not become popular till like 1998. And that's around with the N64, the PlayStation, and all that popping off. So we're gonna see where this goes. But back to this.
Like somebody's eventually they're gonna challenge the legality of like this whole digital future that we're moving towards. Like, what do you actually own?
Yeah, that's
why
the
you
whole thing.
That's why you're starting to see a lot of these companies put in their agreement when you buy something before it pops up in bold letters. You do not own this. It is a license, and a lot of companies are starting to do that.
Yeah, but see, it's like you're saying I can buy a copy of this that has a license, but then the license expires. Oh, we don't have it anymore. I'm like, it's like, this is insane. Well, it's like if because I buy most of my music through Amazon, like or a digital copy of it, anyways, and I always download it. I always make sure I have a copy of it off on an external hard drive, because if Amazon Music ever goes belly up, I still have my copy. I still got several CDs. I still use them, burn them. Excuse me. And they worked still to this day, but I mean, CDs are not the most reliable of physical media. They give out after like 20 years.
Yeah, why do you think all of a sudden record stone came back into style?
Records have always been around. Vinyl records have a unique sound quality that cannot be replicated.
But now they're like the companies, when people put out albums now, they're putting vinyl albums out with the CDs and the digital stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's been a huge resurgence into the vinyl stuff.
Yeah, our generation is the one that been bringing it back. And it has like I said, it's because it has such a unique sound quality. It cannot be replicated. Digital cannot replicate it whatsoever. So if you have a favorite album, bam, vinyl record of it, baby. I'm not kidding. But I don't want to pay like $40 to $50.
That shit not that expensive though.
Depending on what you
They're about
want.
I know when I went to Walmart, I think I seen them. They're usually around about $15 to $20.
Yeah, but then the record player is also like $40, $50.
Well, I assume if you're buying records that you already have in the first place.
Some do, some don't. But anyways, back to this.
But the movement includes all this stuff from earlier, and he was mostly talking about the initiative. Well, the short version is the initiative is about requiring publishers to have end-of-life plans for games they've sold to customers in the future. So when they shut them down, customers can continue running them without their support. The long version depends on what kind of transaction is being made. As you can see, it's not easy to explain in a soundbite. But if you notice, we don't make a distinction between single-player and multiplayer games. That's because the law doesn't either. So why make this even harder? Both the movement and the law are making distinctions on how games are sold. Also, that part he said about it affecting all live service games, yes and no. It would affect most live service games in the future, but the initiative is not retroactive. So that's one thing Thor doesn't understand, but he also seems to think this is about converting multiplayer games to single player. Once again, he made that up, and I have no idea why he thought that.
Transitioning an entire multiplayer server-side game into a single-player video game, which means rebalancing the entire experience around single player, rebuilding everything in the entire game. How are you going to do that with Final Fantasy XIV? You're just going to make all the raids soloable? Imagine the day that World of Warcraft shuts down, and suddenly you have to make it a single-player game for every individual that ever bought the game. That's what they're asking for.
No.
Because they would have to sunset live service games as a single-player experience. The idea that suddenly you need to make every single live service game playable single player offline? No, dude.
Correct. No. This one is particularly baffling to me because I've heard most counter arguments before, but until Thor, I've never heard this one. That we want the industry to convert all multiplayer games into single player ones. I keep saying it. You never know where gamers are going to take this.
Nowhere in there does it say that it's directly targeting always online single-player games.
Oh, he's so close. He's so close to getting it.
It is vague, and because of that, it will impact.
He never has that light bulb moment. Well, he is correct in that statement. It's almost as if that's not what the initiative is asking for. But those were his streams with a smaller audience. What does he say in his big YouTube video with over 1 million views that he had time to research?
If we're trying to kill off the practice of developers putting together a live service game, pitching it as a single-player experience, and then taking away support in the future...
Now he's changed it again and is making up how it's about single-player games are advertised. What is he doing?
I think we'll let this part play through, but you see where Thor is just, he's made up things to, and back when this was starting out, he, as a developer, I'm not sure what game he's making at the moment, but he has something to lose in a manner of speaking. And I think that's why he's so against this and has made these weird points and strawman arguments and made up things, because if this does like take off in Europe, which I hope it does, I hope this backlash will help Accursed Farms like get this to the appropriate people so they can get it seen and get this started. And it will start in Europe, but I think once the ball gets rolling in other places, we can get it done here too. But you see how it's a good idea that we just want we want the publishers to have a excuse me, a game plan for like when it's time for the shut stuff off.
Like I see the point of it. I'm just looking at it from the company side. I'm like, they're not going to bend to the will to that. That's why I say it's going to be more legality, because they're going to chew that thing down to the marrow and look at every single thing.
They're going to try.
And they're going to fight every single thing. And they're going to try to sway it in their favor one way or the other. That's why I'm saying it's not just we can make this decision as law and sweeping and it's going to change for everything. I'm like, no, this is, even Asmongold said it. This is where lawyers come in, politicians, they're going to have to really hammer out the the specs on all that.
Yeah. And that needs to be done. It's not going to be an easy process either. Period. Because someone's going to say, they're going to look at their bottom line and it's like, oh, it's going to hurt my bottom line. It's not going to hurt anyone's bottom line. For the most part, because they've been, it's the gaming industry still feels like the Wild West to a degree. I mean, good Lord, look at all the microtransactions and all the people that spend money on gacha games. Oh, God. All the waifu games.
Don't be a hater.
Well, I can't say anything. I'm playing Utsumi's Derby right now.
I'm a Genshin Impact. I've been playing Genshin Impact since it got released on the PlayStation.
I mean, I've played Nikkei here and there, but I've never put money into it, so... Zenla's
Zone Zero.
Zenless Zen Zero has almost got me to play it and put money into it. Almost. Because they have some really cool characters. Same with Nikkei, but it's not something I only click for 5 minutes and I go do something else.
They don't choose me because I'm the guy who plays those games and doesn't spend one penny.
I know one guy, he spent a lot of money on Fate. Whew, all for that one Fox waifu.
No, trust me. I've already seen a story where a guy basically lost his fiance because he used their $600 credit card to buy enough packs to buy a waifu in that game.
Dear Lord. All right. Now here's the example of the crew, and Thor's going to talk about this. So here's kind of like the prime example that a lot of people will be using. And it's going to be the crew 1, not crew 2.
It needs to be specific about the business practice it's trying to defeat, which is specifically companies that are doing this under the guise of it being a single-player game, but adding online-only functionality that is not necessary and doesn't add any gameplay elements. That's the problem.
No, that's not it at all.
And there are some people that'll say, well, just make it all single-player.
Like
well,
you?
I've explained that doesn't make any sense in the first place. If you're making it all single-player, you'd have to carve off all of that, and it's developer time and money. These are two different ideologies, and that's okay to have two different ideologies. I just won't agree with it.
But those aren't the ideologies. Nothing in the initiative is asking to convert games to single-player.
Nowhere in there does it say that it's directly targeting always online single-player games.
Yeah, so why does he keep bringing it up? This is a total red herring.
If we don't like the idea of live service games as a whole, I get it. Don't play live service games then. Don't agree to those terms.
No, he's getting a new thing wrong now. We're not against them existing. We're against them being destroyed with no recourse for the customer. Just use logic. If we didn't like them in the first place, why would we care if they're being destroyed? He says he gets it, but he doesn't.
Let's talk about the actual bad business practices. In the case that a studio is making a live service game and they sell it to you as a product, they say that you are purchasing the game or you are buying the game, when in reality you're actually purchasing or buying a license to that game. I think that we should be fighting about that. The initiative is not trying to call that out specifically. It's trying to say that all games need to stay in a functionable, playable state.
Yes!
Which is not calling out the language that is being used to manipulate the player. Call that out specifically.
Okay, I don't know if he's doing this intentionally. I'll be charitable and assume he's not. But this is some serious obfuscation. He's complaining that the initiative isn't focused on another topic he made up. I mean, what is that logic? Hey, the initiative doesn't address how Capcom changed the look of Dante in the Devil May Cry reboot either. That may as well be what he's saying there. I am not aware of a game on the planet with a license agreement that says you are not buying a license. Our problem is not with licenses failing to inform people. Blizzard says they can take away your purchase for no reason. That sounds pretty clear to me. Our problem is those terms are so hostile to consumers and the medium that they should be taken off the table entirely. This needs regulation. Forget video games. If you look at basic commerce for hundreds of years, when you paid money, you either got to keep what you paid for, or if it was a service, you were told when your access ends. The vast majority of online-only games do neither of those. The games industry is trying to upend basic commerce. I think you have to go back to feudalism before neither of those things are true. Why even have consumer laws if you have no rights?
If you try to tell me that every studio needs to run their live service game indefinitely or not want to run one at all, then no one's going to run them.
Oh no! He wheeled out that line about publishers having to support the game forever. He was literally watching the video earlier where it says it won't do that in big letters. That wasn't enough. We just can't stop gamers from going there, even when we spell it out. I admit, guys, this part hurts. To see the biggest voice on this issue get it wrong again and again and again, then put that same wrong information on blast to a far bigger audience than we can reach. It hurts. He doesn't get it. He doesn't understand what we're asking for. Now, to be fair, it sounded like he was getting a little closer in this video. Yeah, despite being called 2, it's at least the 4th video he did on this.
You want that to stay in a functional playable state, that means the devs have to release either server binaries or somehow carve off the game to be a single-player experience now.
That's better, but he's still talking about converting the single player right to the end. He never completely got it. So Pirate Software did not understand the initiative. Maybe still doesn't.
It's not that I don't think he didn't understand it. It's just because he is a developer, he doesn't want to have to, I guess, deal with the extra BS that would come in the later years. But that's just me making a small assumption. I'm not quite sure because I can't read his mind, but it's pretty egregious that the points were literally on the board for him to read, and he failed to read them or chose to ignore them.
Perhaps. Oh yeah, it's just hard to tell where exactly he's standing, where he's coming from on that. I can only make assumptions.
He's a developer, so I get the developer points, but anyways, here is a statement from Pirate Software regarding this. All right, I'll read this off. Been reading through all the posts against my stance on the Stop Killing Games initiative. Tons of people calling me a liar or that I misrepresented the initiative. Lots of the content creators dogpiling on this to get their pound of flesh. Let's dig into this. Dig into what I actually did and said. I was like, brother, there's videos of what you said, and he's not paying attention. Anyways, I put out 2 videos on August 6th and on August 7th. These videos are linked at the bottom of this post. Many people may have not watched them or just calling me a liar or attacking my character. Give the videos a watch, read the initiative itself, make a conclusion that you aren't copy pasta from social media. Monetization on these videos is disabled, so no, this is not some ploy to increase revenue. I just care about the subject and have and have rightful concerns as a person working in the space. In the first video, I'll go through what an initiative is, how it's not law, and how it's a starting point for the entire process. This helps people understand that this is to start the conversation for a change and can adapt later. Then I go through the initiative, some of the goals from the from the official pages for it. Then I talk about the repercussions of them should they be implemented. As written, all games need to be left in a functional, playable state. Next, I bring up the crew and walk through the business around it, the sequels and the size, player base at the time of sunset. I did this because I was called out by this initiative as an example of publishers destroying a game. I also harshly critique Ross Scott's wording in his videos because they disparage the lawmaking process and lawmakers, which doesn't benefit players or this movement in any way. In the second video, I'll talk about the potential scenarios where a studio could be abused if the initiative was implemented as written. It adds new paths for abuse and the needs to be discussed to help hone this initiative into something that would do good without doing harm. I then explained that very few people in the game development space can actually discuss this from the other side due to fear of losing their jobs. A studio is much safer in silent dissent than when they're discussing the drawbacks of your your idols. The recent attacks on our games is obvious evidence of this. To recap, my main issue with the initiative is that it is broad and in its approach to change the industry and expect the language of the initiative, not a FAQ that requests that all games stay in a functional, playable state. Brother, it's an initiative is going to be a broad stroke. But anyways, this is not feasible for all games at a technical level and could potentially restrict developers from making online-only games like MMOs, MOBAs, and user-generated content games in the future. That is a list not exhaustive, and it doesn't matter if you do or do not like those kinds of games. Effectively, this has the potential to restrict future developers from making kick-ass experiences because it lacks a way it locks a weight on their designs. Even though this is an initiative that can change in the future, the goal is core to the mission. Deeply disrupt, so it needs to be called out. Alright, I'm not going to keep reading all this. Excuse me. But I guess as you get the point.
I think, yeah.
He,
It's a larger conversation that really is going to take a while to kind of get everything the way it needs to be.
but he's trying to swat it down before it even starts. It's like listen, okay, we need to hammer it. We need to start the process, the ball rolling. And with everything Pirate Software was putting out, swatting it down before it could even start, it's like nope. Now, he did talk to them in this one right here. Excuse me. Just talked to Charlie and Josh Strife Hayes for a bit in the DMs. If you're mad at me for being a dick to Ross, I get it. And I'm sorry for that. I should have him lashed out. Yeah, he lashed out in a pretty bad manner. But I didn't want to cover that part. I had an emotional response due to how important this subject is to me. On the developer side, I have been in a constant battle with people online for nearly a decade trying to inform them how difficult it is to make and release video games. Now, I'm gonna put a pin in that for just a moment. Technically, he is right. Games used to be hard to develop. But we're seeing people make games like Repo, Lethal Company, Schedule 1. And these are all, I think Repo was a one-man team. I don't remember quite, but Lethal Company, one guy developed that. Schedule 1, one dude developed all that by himself. Some of these games were done in less than 2 years, a little less. Hell, Tunic, which is like a Zelda-like game, I think the dude spent 4 years on it, but he was doing all of it by himself, and a lot of hand drawing too. But game development is not as hard as it used to be. You and I can go get Unity, the free version of it, and put a block in there. Start learning how to code and everything, and it's not hard. It's not initial. And I've done it. It looks like it's this giant tower. It's impossible to climb. Once you get the object to go, hey, I want this object to go move A to B, and then you created to do it, then you just building blocks. Essentially, it's not hard. It is time consuming, but it's not as hard as people make it out to be. Once you start learning how it works. But that's just that from my experience. But anyways, the idea of any of the technical hurdles are easy to overcome and would be simple to implement, is the exact kind of thing I've been fighting. Why are you fighting that? See, I don't understand that. It's like the getting people to help overcome those hurdles would be a good thing. What do you think, Mr. Chris?
It definitely would be a good thing. Like, I guess Pirate Software does speak with a lot of authority, and like he knows pretty much everything, and like he's just trying to explain a lot of things to people. Like, let me dumb it down for you guys. So he does kind of have that arrogant kind of speech to him. So I can understand why people don't like him. But when it comes, like, even if you can have like Schedule 1 and stuff like that, those are games that you have to come up with a concept that people are gonna like, because there's plenty of indie games out there that people put out and nobody cares anything about them. So you really more so you have to have a concept that people like.
You mean shovelware?
Is that Shovel Knight?
No, shovelware. That's what it's called. Like on Steam, there's so many Unity store asset flips. It's ridiculous. But anyways, let me try to finish this up. God, I hate reading all this out loud. When I bring up the issues with leaving online play games in a functional, playable state after sunsetting, I am always met with responses diminishing the effort needed to do that. This is not a simple hurdle to overcome, and is exactly why I don't like this initiative. You can't leave these challenges up to a figure-it-out mentality. You can't diminish the work of these, diminish the work of those on the dev side just because you want it your way. Okay, I'm going to put a pin in here real fast. Okay, I have seen what people do when they want something done. And so have you, Mr. Chris. There used to be one of the, and this is just a good example of it. It was probably about 2 years ago. People finally cracked the way to play Monster Hunter Tri online. Like, they were trying to replicate that, and it took them forever. They finally did it. Because Monster Hunter Tri was back on the Wii. So, you know when those servers went down, that was years ago. Mm-hmm. People took the time and effort, and I mean, they had to like reverse engineer all this from scratch to do this. And that was not easy. And people have made, and by God, the most popular fighting game or party game, however you want to say it, Super Smash Brothers Melee. There have been probably, what was it, Project M, I believe it is, or is it? No. It's Project Slippy. It's where they like balanced out some of the characters and such. It has online playability. I don't think Nintendo got it fully pulled off the internet, but I mean, people have figured out ways to do things. And I don't understand where he comes from saying, "Oh, it's too hard." It's like, people will take the time and effort to figure it out. And to sit there and say part of the general audience doesn't understand game development, I don't sell people too short, man. A lot of people understand that they're like, I'll just use an example. Games going up from $60 to $70 and going to $80. A lot of people have a fight or flight sense to this, and they're going to fight it. They don't know probably the best way on how to fight it and not how to deal with it, but that's a learning process for some people, because no one's was expecting such a jump in price. But that's for a different discussion. But don't sell the general public short. That's one thing I wish people wouldn't do. But anyways, movements like this showcase to me how little the general public understands about game development, modern gaming architecture, and the online games as a whole. This is why I put out videos poking holes in this, because it sets the entire conversation back to the Stone Age, in players or developers / player understanding. Making this stuff is hard. Making it when people think it's easy is harder. If you want all games to be left in a functional, playable state, then you need to listen to people who talk about the infeasible that would be in a lot of situations, since these initiatives' primary goal is, as listed on the ESI page, is kind of important to resolve. I mean, listen, it's just, okay, I don't think he understands this, because he's really, really harping on this too much. It, like, literally, if no one's made, well, hell, what's an old game that's not being played anymore? I'm trying to think here now. Damn. Hell, we'll say Daytona Rally. That's an old arcade game. It's had many different ports. No, let's not use that as an example. Damn. I mean, the only examples I can think right off the top of my head still is like Rolling Thunder, where, I mean, the devs just gave the game to the community or whatever, but I mean, that was the devs doing that willingly, since that game never got to be sold. Damn, I'm gonna have to really go. Damn, I can't think of anything right off the top of my head. Can you, Mr. Chris?
Not right off the top of my head. Like, the only thing I could think of is, like, I think we were talking about that game, that PS3 game, Mag.
Yep.
Which it was basically like a online battle royale, and then once the servers pretty much shut down, I think maybe like a year into it, like the game was just like a coaster. Like, you couldn't do anything with it. It was just a useless disc.
Yeah.
But that one was kind of known because it was just online. They already said it was no single player, no nothing. It was just pure online battle royale.
Now that you mention that, I remember some of the Call of Duties being like that for some of the older systems. They didn't waste putting the single player on the disc. They just put the multiplayer function. That was it.
Because that's what most people play anyway.
Yeah. And it's... Well, I don't know. There was a good argument because there was a good chunk of people. It was like a 30 to 33%. I'm not pulling this number out of my rear end or anything, that were completing the campaign and everything. Because the campaigns were pretty good. Except for Black Ops 4. I won't get into why, but anyways, folks, I definitely will have the initiative down in the links below. I'll have Accursed Farms videos down below. I'll have Pirate Software's videos down below for you to check them out. But you got anything else you want to tell them or discuss on this?
No, it's something I'm gonna wait to, because I'm waiting for Grand Theft Auto to get released.
Oh God,
because I got a theory.
I don't know. Nintendo kind of really pushed the envelope.
Now, I guarantee you, Grand Theft Auto was going to be $100 whether Nintendo went up or not, and I guarantee a lot of these people that's that are complaining and pissing and moaning about those $80 games will be right there in line for GTA 6 saying, give me more.
You might be right. All right. We're going to shuffle this around a little bit. We'll talk about the Street Fighter costumes, then Sagat, then Monster Hunter, okay?
Okay.
I'll be, but here we go. You got Cammy's new outfit 4. She's 10.
I mean, like, it's alright.
Listen, you talk to the Cammy fans, not me. I'm just like, hey, and they really worked hard on these. I can tell, because if these in-game models are going to have these tan lines, man, some dudes are going to go wild for it.
All right, there, PhD Gooner.
Listen, no, listen. Look at this. Look at Luke. The ladies.
Luke's costume looks cool.
The ladies are going to go nuts for this. I promise you. No, you need to, Mr. Chris. I don't know how long you've worked around women in general, but the amount of things I hear them say and everything, and boy, when they start gushing over something, they start gushing.
No, I like the Luke costume. To me, his looks the best out of everybody. Like, at least the male costume. Chun-Li just looks like another Chun-Li bathing suit costume.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Manon's is pretty interesting, though. It really has this weird, I know what they're going for with it.
Kind of chic, stylish, fashion look. Like, instead of having the Gucci logo, she's got the little M logos for Manon.
Yeah, this is to me, because I just don't like major fashions.
Jamie's was pretty good. I kind of like that design with the dragon on it.
His has been more unique, I'll say. Now, the one that really caught my eye, though, is Kimberly's. Because I really like the logos on the jacket, on the Bushin style and such. Did they? No, there's no.
She got the band. She got the little. I like the detail. The fact that they give her the strap for her Walkman to sit on.
Yep. You know, I'm surprised they kind of didn't do it on the arm. Now that I think about that.
I don't know. It might have been too busy up there with the jacket. And then you have to they would have to figure out how does the tape player interact with the fabric of the jacket.
This is true. All right, where'd she keep the spray can? She's got to have a holster for the spray cans now. I think about that. Oh, God. Oh, well, I'm just going to not think about that.
Yeah, she got the little Band-Aids on her knee because she's been impacting so many people.
Yep. And we now have probably the most boring one, Aki, who has escaped an insane asylum or hospital, or the flesh pits from Mortal Kombat 9, because that's exactly what this reminds me of.
Yeah, well, it seems to be pretty popular. It's got 9.7K likes on it.
Oh, that's that post itself. But I mean, that's crazy.
The costume is kind of just very bland, but it kind of fits Aki.
Yes, it does. It looks like she escaped the hospital. This would have made an excellent Halloween costume. To be fair,
true.
This is not fit like everything else. Everything else is a swimsuit, summer themed. That is, I just escaped an insane asylum. Dear Lord.
And they're just doing like that, trying to keep it interesting.
Yep. Now, for the main course. Sagat.
Hey, come on, let's go! Wait for me!
lie, that is pretty menacing. Come here. Now, from what we did see in this, even though this is just his introduction in the world tour, if you remember Mr. Chris, he had that card cancel from that like weird low sweep.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to have that.
Well, I'm waiting to see.
They're definitely giving him that.
Because he had from the first announcement trailer, you could see some of stuff. Like you could see like his Tiger Knee when it hit. It was basically his Street Fighter 4 Tiger Knee because it was 2 hitting. It was the heavy one.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming they gave him back his Street Fighter 4 Tiger Knee. You saw him do like the little combo. I don't know if that's a target combo or did they give him back his V Trigger 2 for like that might be his level 2 activation, his install. So it was things I could pick up. I didn't notice that his fireball in that game was a lot faster because when he was doing the high shot, him and Ryu basically start up. Their fireball start up at the same time, but his high shot beats out Ryu's fireball. So I'm like, did they speed up his high shot more, or does it have more priority on it? It's just it's a lot of stuff that I was just looking at that I'm just like I'm not sure about until we really get the combo guide and the character breakdown.
I'm going to kind of make a prediction here. His level 2 will be an install. And I feel like it'll power up fireballs, or it's going to be like his V Trigger 1 in Street Fighter 5 where he has 2 big fireballs to use in like combo extensions. But I have a feeling that he will have a power-up special. Like
Well, he's always had that.
No.
He's always had that. No, the Tiger Scar power-up.
No, he didn't really have that till like 4, but I'm talking about where like instead of power up the uppercuts, it powers up the fireball. Like the Dinjin charge powers up Ryu's fireballs and his level 1. See, that's what I'm hoping they do for Sagat. Because
They do that.
Huh?
I don't think they would give him something like that.
Did you know how epic that would be though?
Yeah, but then that would make him too similar to Ryu.
No, he'd still be different. But I'm like having a power up fireball would be really cool. That's just me.
Like I would like it better if they gave him his V skill where you get a Tiger Scar or you get the power up Tiger Knee, which gives you more plus frames, so you can do like meaty Tiger Knee setups.
Yeah, maybe that. I don't know. You know, it would be funny though if level 2 was an install and it shot mini Tiger shots. Oh, come on.
Do it like Guile.
Yes, that would be hilarious. Oh,
like
man.
like Tiger shot, Tiger Cub shot.
Tiger.
It's would you already see like the level with him coming out in August? I mean, that pretty much confirmed in my mind that not Manon. Jeez, why am I thinking about Manon right now?
You like legs.
Elena. That's what I meant to say. That tells me Elena was supposed to come out way earlier than that, and they held her back for the Switch launch.
Yep.
Because they've never had it where a character comes out and 1 month later another character comes out.
Yep. They held back on that on the release. All right. Now here's the overview of the Monster Hunter 2. I'll let it play for a little bit.
というわけでいよいよ皆様にラギアクルスのお話ができる日がやってまいりましたと。これ本当にグローバルいろんなところに行っても本当にラギア人気がすごくってすごい期待されてすごい今回ようやく皆様に、登場させることをお知らせできたと。実はモンスターハンタートライっていうタイトルからラギアクルスっていうのが出てるんですけど、そこはちょっとラギアクルスの開発秘話的なところ、
モンスターハンタートライを立ち上げましょうってなって、売りになる遊びとかを水中戦とかも作ろうみたいなのがあって、でその水中をよりちゃんと面白くするにはラギアクルスが結構面白くならんといかんっていうのもあって、 でもともとレウスのライバルみたいな立ち位置をちゃんと作ろうみたいな、まあいろんな精鋭を集めてラギアチームみたいなの作ってね。
でその時にモンスターの担当してたのがまた徳田。
そうですね、藤岡さんがディレクターで、僕が初めて最初から企画の立ち上げから調整してリリースするところまで担当させてもらったメインモンスターというところで、チームラギアですね、みんなが日々より良いモンスターにするために意見とかアイデアっていうのをぶつけ合いながら、より良いモンスターに仕上げていく経験っていうのはなんか振り返ってみるとクリエイターとしてもすごい大事な時間を過ごさせてもらったなみたいに思うようなモンスターですね。
そうね、
ワイルズでのこだわりっていうのをちょっと皆さんにもご説明したいと思うんだけど、
今回は水中ちょっとアクセント的なイベント的なやり取りっていうのはできるんですけど、主にはやっぱり地上でもやり取りしていただくような設計に変えましたので、昨今のプレイヤーのアクションできる幅っていうのも広がりながら、そこに対応しつつ、しかもラギアクルスらしさみたいなものを残したアクション設計にするというところがまず一つこだわったところです。ラギアクルスってトライの時からそうだったんですけど、水中でのこのシルエット、縦に伸びた時のシルエットっていうのは本当にかっこよくて、そこの迫力っていうのをぜひ感じていただきたいというところがありましたので、武器を完全に振ることは自由に振ることはできないんですけれども、ちょっとイベント的な水中のアクションっていうのも今回なんとか実装することができましたので、そこも含めて楽しんでいただけるようなモンスターに仕上がったんじゃないかなと思います。
もちろんラギアクルスが出てくるというところで、討伐して素材とか、入手してもらったらもちろん武器とか防具が作れるっていうところは当然あると思うんですけど、そこら辺で何かあります？
久しぶりにこうやって出てくるので、全ての人がね楽しい。
All right. I'm sure. All right. I'm sure how they were kind of gushing over. These guys were some of the original designers back on Monster Hunter Tri, and I'm really glad a lot of these guys are working on Monster Hunter Wilds as well. See where I think we discussed it at one point where there are two teams of Monster Hunter creators. There's the Monster Hunter World team, and then there was the old school team.
Mm-hmm.
I think they finally mixed them together for this one. So, but
So many people are hating it though.
what? Well, here's the thing. If they didn't release it in a sorry state, in a poorly optimized state, it would have been a lot better, but they had to meet their financial quarterly. So it was one of those decisions, that comes with, if we don't do this, we don't meet our fiscal year. If we do it, we'll take a hit now and keep on rolling. They took a PR hit and it still sold. So it's one of those calculated risks you have to do in business sometimes. I wasn't happy about it as a Capcom fan, but
But it might hurt. It might hurt the next Monster Hunter.
They would have to. Monster Hunter is their most popular IP. They would have to, destroy the next 3 games or something for it to be terribly bad, for it to really start hurting them. That came close to Resident Evil, but look at what they did with Resident Evil. They're not going to let Monster Hunter get hurt, like how Resident Evil almost did, but...
What do you
think of the armor?
I'm not that big on it.
It's the original armor, so that's to be expected.
The armor I love the most is the yeah, it's the Misasune armor. Because I love that. Even if I got other armor, but I have that overlaid on top of the armor because I just like the look of it.
That's understandable. Now, see, I was shocked they were including this one.
What is he from? Try to?
No, he is from Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. That was
ま
on
あ、セルゲスは、
3DS.
もともとモンスターハンタ
The
ー
gimmick of
4G
his armor was if you
から登場
rolled,
してるタ
it
イプ
would sharpen the
で
weapon
モンスターハン
too.
ター4の無印が実は
So you didn't have to
海外版
bust
出て
out
る
the
んで
whetstone
4G から
and
出てる
sharpen
ん
the
で
weapon all the
海外
time.
の人も結構セルゲス馴染みある人も多いんじゃないかなと
I got you.
思うんですけど
Hey,
ちょっと
listen,
今回のセ
you
ル
can
ゲ
laugh
ス
at it, but that was a hell of a gimmick too.
説明を軽くでもしてもらえたら
もともとセルレギオスは結構旋回能力高くて
And the fact that we're getting both of these monsters in less than a day.
もともとのコンセプトにあったんで、そのあたりちょっと今回
And that's why I will give Monster Hunter respect for the fact that they release new monsters and they don't charge you for every monster they release, only for the expansions.
足の攻撃だと人輪をうまく
As long as they keep it that
テ
way,
ンポ感を作って
I'll be happy.
で後ろの回し
I've always
Oh,
enjoyed the series.
you wouldn't want to pay for the
個
monsters.
人的にモーションの子が提案してくれて面白かったのが斜め
I'm not dignifying that with an answer.
みたいなアクションがあったんです
Like, what if they bundled them? Like, hey, you can get these 3 monsters for like $10.
出しながらやるモンスターっていうのがあまりいなくて、まあ、そこの特徴がすごく面白いモンスターだなと思ってましたんで、今回もそういう部分っていうのを、アップ
I do kind of like that armor set right there for the male.
いきながら遊べるようなモンスターとしてセルジウスは
Okay.
機能してく
Do
れて
you
るんじゃないかな
remember? Okay, I'm sorry, this is gonna be stupid, but do you remember a show called The Knights of Timbernogue?
Not right off hand, but I would know if I saw it.
They were a original Saban creation for like Power Rangers, but medieval times. Like, this was, I think it was like filmed in Ireland or whatever. The Seregius armor always reminds me of the Fifth Knight.
思いました今ご紹介
And
しま
his
した
weapons were
ラギ
like
アクル
dual
スとセルレ
axes
ギ
or
オス
whatever.
は
I don't know,
いずれ
sorry,
も
I just
星
couldn't
8
help
の
myself
歴戦の
there.
個体としてフィールドに登場するようになります
Anyways,
かなりこう
but
強力な
they're
モン
gonna
ス
be
ターになっておりますので
tempered too, so
腕
this
に
will be
自信
really
のある
cool.
方はぜひチャレンジしてみてください
I hope they had the gimmick where he rolls and sharpens still.
For the
Arch
second
tempered
monster,
Archduna.
we'll have Arch-tempered Uthaduna
Uthaduna.
here for a limited time.
Or just tuna.
You'll be
The
able
arm
to
set looks
forge the new
nice.
armor sets, Uthaduna Gamma and Feline Uthaduna Gamma.
I'm gonna be honest, that monster is such
Uthaduna
a
will arrive in the future as an event
lackluster
quest and free challenge quest.
appearance in the
Oh, see.
story. Like, you fight it once and then never again.
Okay, like, it's kind of
Crafting
lame.
the final weapon
You gotta be
and training
AR.
allows
You gotta be
to
AR
use that
50
weapon
plus
as
to
layered
fight him.
equipment.
Yeah, the arc tempered one, yeah. That was for
Ah,
radar.
finally,
Protean weapon.
finally, we're getting layered
After
on
fully
weapons.
reinforcing the Rarity
Yep.
8 weapon.
And we're getting upgrades for the weapons.
You'll need to forge high-rank weapons. We're adding
The photo
brightness
mode is
settings
really
and filter
nice.
effects to photo mode.
I really need to start using it.
And in the Character Display tab, you'll be able to hide your handler, Palico, Sacred, and more. We're planning on continuing to update photo mode to make it easier to use.
Can you make the game more stable?
I'm hoping they're
We've
working
added
on
the
it.
ability to swap handlers. You'll now be able to travel with Eric instead of Alma.
That's pretty cool. I wish they
No,
could
because
let
he
you.
he never shuts up.
As for support
Hey.
hunters, Mina,
Listen.
a hunter from Vespai,
Listen, at least it's not the handler from Ultimate 4. You have no idea how annoying she was. No, you remember fighting the Brachydios in Monster Hunter World, right?
Mm-hmm.
That handler would never shut up about that monster. And dreamed of marrying the damn monster, too. So trust me. There are things could be far worse.
Yeah, that is true.
unit who
Is this a character from another Monster Hunter?
No, she's not. She's just one of the new
you'll
supporters
also now be able to select which support hunters participate in
that show up when you
quests.
fire a flare.
Oh,
Furthermore, by playing with content added in the update,
I kind
You'll
of
be
was
able to
hoping they would do
obtain a
like in
myriad of
Monster Hunter
rewards.
Rise. You'd get a better, have like companion quests.
Event quests that allow you to forge special equipment.
It seems not.
Quests
I
that
like that
make
sword
it
and
easier to
shield.
obtain armor spheres and decorations. A challenge quest featuring Mizutsune. And a free challenge quest featuring Arch-Tempered Uth Duna will be available for a limited time.
I looked up how much that guitar was,
が入手できるイベントクエスチョンについてお知らせし
and
た
that
い
was
と
from
思いま
like
す
a。year ago.
フェン
Apparently,
ダさんより
that thing was
モンスター
2
ハンター
grand.
20周年を記念したコラボレーションギターモンスターハンターリオレウステレ
If
カ
it's
ス
a
ター
custom made one, then yo,
3月21
it's gonna be
日から
that price.
発売しております。
Dude, it came with like a really nice carrying case, custom picks.
こちらのギターが
I mean, it's a
登場する
Fender,
コラボジェスチャー
so,
が
I mean,
なんと入手できますという
Fender
ことになっております。
Telecaster.
今回のコラボコラボ
So,
が
yeah,
決まった時から
be
結構ね
expensive.
ノリノリでいろいろ
And check out Robin's medleys.
こだわりがあるん
medleys.
ですけどちょっといくつか
They make custom guitars.
そのまま
And I think it's about 3,000.
自社で取れる
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
そのまま
The
の形が
guitar
ゲ
I'm
ームに
thinking
出せるよう
about
にして
buying.
使用感とかそういうのもちょっとデザイナー
It's
の
like
部分で
$100
足してあげたりとかしてまあ実際の
But there is
こうちょっと
one, it's like a minimalist
ま
guitar.
あところまでこだわって
All the
再現
knobs
して
and
ます
everything. It's like literally just a
音自体も
handle.
実際の
The strings.
サウンドチ
It's
ームの人
not
が
doesn't
演奏し
have
て
the
くれ
big
て
thing
その
around
音
it
そ
or
のまま
whatever
使
to
ってますけ
learn
ど
with.
アニメとかもまあそのキャプチャー撮る時もまあサウンドの
I always wanted to learn how to play
ちゃん
guitar,
と
but
指の動きを
Rehearse to learn, man. You can.
コードが間違ってないかとか、チェックしてもらいながら、
hell yeah, I could.
しっかり撮ってますんで、まあそれなりに楽しいジェスチャーに
Are they gonna do more concerts?
来週会場とかでもすごくこう映える
Yeah, I think they will update the concerts. I don't, because the new festival, the
あ
summer
れも実
festival.
際にジェスチャーしたら音マイルもあれをやってくれるってことで
エアギ
すよね。
ターみたいなのをビーンってやって
入って
一緒にうわーって
The Fender collab armor reminds me of
音もらしい
one of the characters from Fist of the North Star.
楽しくみんなで楽しんでもらえたらなと思います。
What's it that
ぜひ
his
やっていただ
brother's
けたらと思い
name?
ます。
はい。
He uses dynamite as a weapon.
There will be a range of DLC with this title update as well. There will be 4 kinds of dance gestures as free DLC.
Like the robot one.
And a cosmetic DLC Pack 2 as paid
I
DLC.
do not like that costume.
Those with the Premium Deluxe Edition or the Cosmetic DLC Pass will automatically obtain it.
These goofy things.
There will also be other DLC not included in packs. In the summer, there will be a seasonal event called Festival of Accord Flame Fate. During seasonal events, the decorations and meals at the Grand Hub will change. And by playing during the event, you will be able to get limited time only equipment, gestures, pop-up camp
I
decorations,
will never use this
and more.
pop-up stuff.
Festival of Accord.
I've got a
begin
couple of
July
pop-up
23rd.
campsites.
No, I'm saying I'll never
Let's
use the
make this
decorations.
summer
I just
a hot
have the
one
tents
to
popped up
remember.
and that's it.
I tricked out mine.
ここからは今後のスケジュールについてお
There's
さ
only
ら
a
いいた
couple
し
of
ます。
areas that I
無料タイト
feel
ルア
I
ッ
need
プデ
them
ート第2弾
at.
はご覧の日程で配信予定です。
Wow, the Fender is not until like
追加モンス
August.
ターラギアクルス
Late
セルレリオ
August,
スが登場し
September.
ます。
Wow.
また武器の重ね着装備などシステム追加を予定しています。夏の季節イベント交わりの祭事踊り火の儀を開催します。
Well, I say we will be very busy in 2 days, Mr. Chris. We'll be very
I
busy.
probably might. I actually might fire it up tonight and play some.
Might join you. Not sure yet.
Yeah.
But
Because something's just been bothering the hell out of me, especially with that game. Because I'm trying to find a specific item, and I'm getting so sick of having to fight this monster to try to get it.
Are you killing it or capturing it?
And killing it, I might have to capture it.
There you go.
No, because it's asking for scales.
Oh, are you need guardian scales?
Oh no, it's the what's the purple snake thing? It's been the Icelands.
Oh, that thing. Oh god. I know what you're talking about. Try capturing it. If you haven't caught it. Or we'll figure it out in a few minutes. All right, but any final thoughts on this update, Mr. Chris?
No, it's actually a pretty beefy update coming with, because people had been complaining about the fact that they were getting tired of fighting the same monsters, and when were we going to get new monsters, new temperate monsters, new stuff just in general. So I think this should satiate a couple people.
I hope.
Because it really,
go ahead.
I don't know, because we got what they dropped two new monsters. Because we got the Mitsusune, and then we got the Temper Radon, Radao, and I think those are the only two they did.
Well, the Mitsusune was the only new monster. I'm air quoting that. What I'm hoping is they start doing batches of monsters. Like, they'll introduce two monsters, like they're doing with the Legicris and the Sergios here. Sergios.
Technically, three.
Yep, that's fine. And throwing like an arc-tempered one. And I just hope they keep doing this. This is really cool. Because two monsters gives more content for people to play with. Man, I think there was somebody I was talking with or whatever saying, no, there'll be less people coming back for this. I'm like, these are two flagship monsters. There's going to be a lot of people coming back for this.
people act like Monster Hunter Wilds is just like a dead game or something.
I mean, it had, like I said, it has that slight little tarnish because they released it in an unoptimal state. But that's just, I hated it, but I can forgive it at the same time. I really shouldn't, but it is what it is at this point. But got some really great stuff coming out, folks. I hope y'all have enjoyed this episode of the Questionable Perspective podcast. Mr. Chris, anything else?
No, I think that's about it.
All right, folks. Well, y'all have a wonderful day, night, or morning.